Well, good morning. Welcome to Integrative Preparedness. I'm Steve Smith. How are you all today? Welcome to all of the new people, everyone who has joined up with us on YouTube, and everybody who's come over and joined up on Patreon as a patron. Have a question today that I'm going to answer that was given to me, that was messaged to me by a Stonemont level patron over on Patreon. If you don't know what that is, that level lets people get directly to me and make sure that I get their messages and their emails and things. It's gotten to the point I kind of apologize. I mean, it's great that it's gotten to this point, but in a way I hate to get it to this point that I'm getting so many messages and emails now. I can't get to all of them. I can't really see all of them. I try to get to the ones who leave direct comments, but as far as messages and emails, I can't. And the Stonemont level allows me to catch those ones and get to them. And in this case, what it allows is for them to ask questions, and in this case, everybody's going to benefit from that. And I'll either answer that question, or I'll get back to them either directly or personally, or in the form of a video. And this question really is something that everybody would want to know, and it has to do with, it was in response to the one that I did yesterday, Prepare for War, and they asked, they said they're fairly new to prepping, but this really would, it would cover, beginner through intermediate, I would think, because if you remember the beginning of your preparedness journey, it takes a long time to kind of fill in all of the cracks, and a lot of those cracks we fill in after we've found out that we missed something, right? And so I think this is going to be helpful. They asked, could you put together just a list of all of the things, the primary things that you think we should do and have in preparation for a catastrophe, in this case, an impending world war. Every day I get up now and there's something else that leads me to believe even more so that we may be headed for that. So I did that. I took a few minutes and jotted down I was going to say a short list. It's not that short. So I'm going to have to go through it fairly quickly. But it's all those things that I think the basics that a person should think about in the case of, running up to the kind of emergency that we think might be happening. Y'all, I just got back in from picking some apples off the apple tree. Y'all might be interested to see that. Aren't those pretty? I get out and I pick a few every day, and we'll either I bring them in, the kids get right at them and start eating, or we'll make some applesauce and we'll slice some up to dip in caramel sauce. It's fall. As always, just to let you know, and if anybody wondered what is that Stonemonter business, this is brought to you by my books, the Stonemont series. 5 books that explain exactly in detail how to prepare for, how to survive, and how to rebuild after a major collapse. And all of the lessons in here, which is in the form of a novel, it's not a bunch of lists and things like that. They tell me that it's an exciting novel that will teach you a lot and get you involved. And many of my readers around the world have said they would rather live in the world that they read about here than in the world we live in now, and I agree with them. That's kind of why I wrote them. When I'm writing, and I'm writing on the 6th book now, to be honest, I enjoy that world a lot more than what we deal with here. And it's not living a fantasy. What it is it going back and reviewing and reclaiming the basic principles and ideals that we know to be important in running our lives and running a country and building up what all that is. And so the Stonemonter level is, and I should say people all over the world have told me how much they enjoy these, so you probably will too if you haven't bought them. And a Stonemonter refers to a person who has read all the books, but also to a person on the Stonemont level over on Patreon. Now, for all you Stonemonters, I do have kind of a surprise before we get into the meat of the matter today. a couple of people noticed these things and asked how to get them. I wore them because I was interested to see how many people would notice them and ask about them. The first one, can you see this? I'm not very good at this. It's the Integrative Preparedness t-shirt. This one is on a heather green, and these are available to buy now. And below it says, prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. That's black on heather green, and that is the Integrative Preparedness. Now these are kind of up-level t-shirts. They're not the basic t-shirts, but they are the better ones. Now this one is on just a jerseys, and most of them are going to be on Gildan, the better line of Gildan. This is the Stonemont t-shirt. Can you see that? Maybe I should hold it up like this. I'm not a very good spokesmodel, am I? There, can you see that? Even though you can't see me. Stonemont, where life is good. Did I hold it up so you could see that? Yeah, kind of. Stonemont, where life is good. Both of these are available now. And the way to get them is up in or down in the information box. Hi, buddy. I'll be with you in a minute. I'm making a video. That's my dog. The way to get them is down in the information section. They're $20 a piece, and you can choose which color you want and which shirt you want, or if you want both, I don't care. You can tell me you want the khaki with the Stonemont, or the khaki with the Integrative Preparedness, or you can say that you want the heather green with the Stonemont or the Integrative Preparedness, however you want to do it, and send me tell me your size, and stick in a check or whatever you want for however many shirts you want, and tell me the address that it's going to. And we'll get them right out to you. This is to be honest, the reason that we're able to offer that by whatever size you want, and we can get them to you pretty quickly, because it's one of the new businesses that we just opened. Kelly has opened a printing and sublimation and screen printing business, and we'll be coming out with others in the future. So I know a lot of people have been asking about that, so they are now available. And get yours now while they're hot. Okay, let's get to the order of business today. What should you do? What should you think? I'm going to give you kind of a checklist. And the way that I would suggest that you do this is listen to the video first, so that you have a sense of everything, and then listen to it again, or watch, whatever you want to do, and get something to take notes in with. Write these things down. You may not be able to get all of them, but if you have all this written down, you'll have a checklist that you can check off and see where you're weak. Okay, that's the purpose of a checklist. In order to do well, in order to survive or to make it through a country at war. And even though we think the war may not come to the continental United States, I think that it very well could, because we're not dealing with World War II technology. We have we're dealing with 21st century technology, and that includes cyber attacks and EMP weapons and all sorts of things. So these are the things that I would suggest that you get as basics, or do as basics. Okay, in order to do well, in order to survive and do fairly well during a situation like this, you need to be able to eat, drink, stay warm, and protect yourself. We're going to start with the water very quickly. I got to go very quickly because I got 3 pages here of stuff that I just jotted down to tell you about. You should have a Berkey filter. If you can't afford a Berkey filter, the secret is in the filters, not the container. There's all sorts of places online that'll show you how to use a couple of 5-gallon buckets and essentially create a Berkey filter. The Berkey, stainless steel, we've used one here for 10 years, I guess. We haven't drunk out of the tap for 10 years. All the water that we use to drink or cook in or things like that, it goes to the Berkey first. I wouldn't drink the junk that's in public or even rural water. Now, some people out there with well water might be good, might not be good. You got to have it tested, okay? So the Berkeys will run you several $100s, and if you can't or just don't want to spend that kind of money, just get the filters, and there's some. You can find something on YouTube that'll show you how to make that filter. Also, you should have a Sawyer filter. They come in several. They're much less expensive. You can get a Sawyer Mini for $20. We have them in all of our bags here. Everybody should have one, and they also make larger ones that'll serve more of a family. In addition, to be able to process or purify water, you want to have water stored. If water stops coming to your house, that makes life so much more difficult. Between cooking and cleaning and all those things, you need more water than you think you do. I know that they say a person should have two gallons of water per day. Well, that's for the basics. If you want to live any kind of better life, you need more than that. So store it up. You can store it in the empty 2 liters after you get done with your Diet Dr. Pepper. Rinse the thing out and fill it up with water and stick it in your garage. You'd be surprised how fast water can accumulate, and you'll just take that out of your tap, and then hopefully run it through a filter before you drink it. But if you don't have a filter, you'd rather have water. You'd rather drink unfiltered water, and by that I don't mean out of the creek, I mean out of the faucet, than not have any water at all, right? Okay, and then 55-gallon drums, make sure that they're food grade or IBC totes. Again, there's plenty of places on the internet and YouTube to find these things. As far as food goes, rice, it's a great bulk. Beans, do you want dry or canned? The problem with dry beans, now you can store a lot more with dry beans, but then it uses a lot of water. And a lot of people don't talk about this. It uses a lot of water to prepare those beans, right? And it takes a lot of time. I have both, but I have a lot of canned beans. Why do I have a lot of canned beans? And all sorts of beans: white beans, black beans, red beans, dark beans, whatever like it. A lot of beans, because they're already hydrated. You're going to get a lot of your water needs from canned things, okay? And you can open up a can and eat them right out of the can if you want to. It doesn't take any time to prepare, and you have some of your water needs met. Pasta. I like pasta better than rice, to be honest. There are some problems with rice. Oh, by the way, this is a good drill. I'm going to let this run. This is the all clear. It's the monthly testing of the sirens. We live in Kansas, so most of the time it means tornadoes, right? It's also the sirens they would use, and when we were young, we knew that they were for a nuclear attack. I think this might prove to be good background music for the. Usually my dog howls at this. Maybe he knows it's a drill. Good background music for what we're talking about. Next Monday, I'm going to be reviewing the movie The Day After, where the Ruskies nuke Kansas City, where I'm in the Kansas City area, and Lawrence, Kansas. So we'll let that run. Just listen to it, and it might, help you say, this is real. Maybe we should. And there he goes. So anyway, I like pasta better than rice. It's got pretty much the same caloric value, but it's got more protein in it. And you can store a lot of pasta in a very small area. Soups like Progresso soups and the chunky soups. Those are meals in a can. There he goes. Yeah. Those are meals in a can. And you ought to have a couple years worth of Progresso soups or the Campbell's, whatever it is. You dump some of that on some rice. You dump a couple of cans on some rice, and you can feed a family of 4 or 5 a nice dinner. Have canned fruits and vegetables. Fruits are much higher in caloric content. You need that. This is not the time to be worried about, there's too much sugar in it. But the vegetables, they don't have as high a calories per serving. Calories are important, but nutrients are also. And the vegetables have some nutrients that the fruits don't. You want sugar and flour and baking soda and all those basics that you can use to create, make your own breads, your own pancakes, your own biscuits, your own cakes, everything like that. If you don't have the skills there, go download, some good, or if you don't have a cookbook, or you weren't taught by your mama or your grandmama, download some things that'll tell you how to make these things from scratch. That's the way they did it in the old days, and we might have to return to some of that. So sugar, flour, baking soda, baking powder, salt, pepper, spices, things like that. Chili, canned chili. I'm a big believer in canned chili. Love canned chili. Again, you put that on rice and you can feed a lot of people for not much money. And these are the things that you can build up large stocks of for minimal money. Sauces, spaghetti sauce for the pasta, and gravy. You'd be surprised how much better your mashed potato flakes, which I've got down here next, will taste with a little gravy on them, right? So mashed potato flakes, in the boxes that you just add water or butter or a little bit of milk or whatever. If you don't have milk, you don't need the milk. It tells you how to make it. You can stock a lot, and it lasts a long time. It'll last a couple of years in an unopened box. I know there's an expiration date on it, but don't pay attention to that. If you open it up, there's no bugs in it, it's fine. Even if there are bugs in it, depending on how hungry you are, right? So mashed potato flakes, and you can also augment this with things like with dry stuffing mixes and things like that. What makes Thanksgiving dinner special, right? The stuffing. No reason not to have that if you're just trying to survive, what's coming. So again, the sauces, the spaghetti sauces, the gravies and stuff like that. Baking mix like Bisquick. Aldi used to have their line of baking mix out that I liked a lot better than it tasted better than Bisquick, and it was cheaper. They don't have it anymore. I don't know why, but Bisquick or whatever your store brand of that is, it's an easy way to make the stuff if you don't have time or don't want to make it from scratch. Now, along with that, because since we're talking about breads and pancakes and things, syrup, stockpile syrup. I stockpile maple syrup. I love it. And butter and lard. Now, butter and lard made for different things. Of course, you're going to grease your pans with lard, but butter is added to so many things, and butter makes everything better, doesn't it? I mean, isn't that what Paula Deen says? And she is right. Peanut butter. Peanut butter lasts a long time. There's a lot of calories, a lot of good protein and fats in it. The peanut butter and jelly. Don't forget the jelly. Have as much jelly as you have on, maybe not as much, but I always include jelly along with the peanut butter because it makes people happy, doesn't it? It made me happy when I was a kid, still makes me happy. I still occasionally have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, so does Kelly, and we remark to each other, isn't it funny how something that was so good when we were kids is still so good. Cooking oil. You will want oil to, the calories in cooking oil and grain oil is not good for you, but when you're just trying to get by is not the time you're going to be holding to the best diet. Nutritional plan, I should say. So you want some cooking oils. It's got some, first off, it helps you cook. It's necessary for some recipes, and it's got calories. I think I mentioned spices. Have a good array of spices. They're not that expensive to stock up on, especially if you've got an Aldi in town or someplace like that. And they make everything taste so much better. We're going to go protein. You need meat. I know, and I said this yesterday, that there are those that say rice and beans gives you a complete protein. Well, yeah, it does, but it's minimalistic. You want meat. We are meat eaters. Now, in this, get as much frozen meat and canned meat as you can. Stock ahead freezer. We've got stores around here still have ground beef. They're running sales for $1.88 a pound. Well, guess how much I buy? Well, I won't tell you how much, but it's a bunch. And it's frozen. Well, how are you going to keep your freezer running, Steve? Well, when we get to the generators, I'll let you know about that. Canned meat. We all know canned tuna, Spam, or, I buy the Aldi brand. And there's canned chicken, and there's canned hams, and have a bunch of it. It's going to last you a long time. And along with that protein drinks and powder, those little, we always have cases and cases of these little protein drinks. The kids love them. They grab them. They're easy to grab for a meal replacement. But also the larger powder protein. Protein is important. Too many people think only about the carbohydrates when they're thinking about, survival or preparedness food. Protein is so important because we are made of protein. You know, the body can turn protein into carbohydrate. It can break it down through a process called gluconeogenesis to be mixed with fat for complete metabolism, but it cannot turn carbohydrates into protein, you know, because we're not cows, and we don't have 4 stomachs to do it. And you need protein. You are made of protein. Carbohydrates is for energy and fuel, and protein is made for keeping your physical body in tune. Salt is very important. Have a lot of salt. Salt is so easy to stock up on. It's 50 cents for a pound, you know, something like that. And or you can go to your local feed store and get a 50-pound block for $5 or something like that. So get a whole bunch of salt. You'll need it. Seeds. You should have seeds. You know, those who are going to rely on small gardens are going to be, if you haven't started, there's a steep learning curve, and even those. I was talking to somebody on the phone last night, and he said his garden hadn't done very well this year. Mine did iffy. I didn't water it as much as I probably should have, but it didn't do that well. And so many people have told me that their gardens have not done well this year. You know, if you don't have stored food, people have this idea that if you live out in the country and you grow food, you're going to be fine. You know, there were reasons that back during the Depression and the Dust Bowl, people moved to the cities, not away from them. Because all it takes is a year or two of bad drought, and guess what? You're not producing food. That's why stored food is so important. The story of Joseph rate, seven years of plenty and 7 lean years, and that's why I say you should have 7 years of food stored. One bad year, you're gonna have a hard time making it to the next year, and then if that year is bad, you're going to be starving. Look at the Irish potato famine if you doubt me. And then vitamins. Have plenty of vitamins, starting with multivitamins, and then I won't put more on here because I don't want anybody to think it's medical advice. There are certain vitamins that I take, and do your own research on that, because a lot of them will benefit and enhance your immune system. That's the ones you want. It did us well through the latest idiocy, and it continues to do well. Okay, now let's jump to the home. I'm kind of talking fast because how long are we in here? I've got to go fast. Generators. Get the small ones, not the big ones. You want generators that, because you're not going to want something to run your whole house. You're going to tone everything down, right? I have gas and I have dual fuel. So you want them to run on gas and on propane. You want stored gas. You want plenty of propane tanks, large and small. If you want to run, have a grill. Have a grill like I have. The reason that I have that one back there, because it runs on propane. Half is propane. The other half is either charcoal or wood. Have plenty of wood set by. I live in the suburbs, and I've got a ton of wood, and I've got another big pine tree I'm about to take down. Steve, don't burn pine. People who say that, I could square you away on that, because there's a good reason to burn pine over oak. Not that I'm against burning oak. I got oak too, you know, but let's don't get off on that tangent, okay? So have a grill, because you might need it to cook. What if all your utilities are shut off to the house for whatever reason, okay? You want to be able to cook outside, so have plenty of propane, charcoal, and wood. Have a camp stove in case you don't want to use a big grill. Have a little camp stove that runs off those small little cylinders. You can also adapt a larger tank to those. Outdoor cooking, campfires or rocket stoves. Learn how to make a rocket stove if it's for whatever reason. Just have the ability to prepare food a number of different ways. Insulate your home as well as you can, and get a bunch of plastic sheeting to put over windows to give yourself a little bit of extra insulation. That's going to help you heat your house with a minimal amount of energy. I just put up the one on Patreon about how I heated a 2-floor, 4,800 square foot gym with beer bottles and a few heat lamps and a fan. if you're not on Patreon, go over and watch that, because you could use it in this situation. And guys, if you're not on Patreon, I do invite you. There's so much more over there. At the end of this, I'll mention something that I'm not going to put on here, but I am going to put on Patreon. It's worth your dollar. So anyway, I invite you over there. Have duct tape, have super glue, have indoor grills also. You know those little tabletop, like the George Foreman, and there's some others that I've had in the past. They're great small cooking appliances in case you can't run your stove or your big range. And a fireplace. Hopefully you have a wood-burning fireplace. A lot of people don't, but if you do, you can use that. You can use a gas fireplace if your gas is on to do things like heat water and things, but it's not really for cooking. You want hand tools. Get some extra tires for your vehicles if they're needed, because they may be in short supply if a war comes along. LED solar lights. I love LED, the little things that you get at Walmart for $1. Stick them outside during the daytime, and they collect that. And then at night, just bring them inside. And we have used those for a long time for our night lights and things like that, and also to carry around with you. And you need a good flashlight, many good flashlights. You need good flashlights for everybody in the family, and plenty of batteries. Candles. Do you want candles? Oil lamps with oil to go with them. All these things are redundancies, but preparedness is about redundancies. How we doing here? Man, I gotta hurry. Warm clothes, extra shoes, boots, and socks, blankets, sub-zero sleeping bags, soap and shampoo, toothpaste and brushes, razors, cleaning supplies, paper towels and toilet paper, and then medicines. And I say on there the kind that I'm talking about, yes, if you're on prescription meds. First off, if you can possibly get off them, get off them. Now I know that there are some that you can't get off of, but if it's blood pressure or it's cholesterol, most people can get off them. You've got to do your homework on how to do it, and your life will be better. Drop the weight, get some exercise, get your health back, right? Okay. Now, the last segment here, security. Secure your doors and windows. There's plenty of places around, and I used to teach this stuff. This is what my security company was about, security audits and such. I don't do it anymore, so don't call me. I'm too busy doing other things, although I am interested in it. So your doors and windows, plenty of videos to watch to see how to secure those things. Lighting is important. Maybe I'll do separate ones on these. Not sure if I'll do it on YouTube or just on Patreon. Landscaping. There is landscaping either adds to or detracts from the security of your home. Alarms, dogs, and have a dog like mine that'll want to eat somebody, not just one that'll make noise. And then firearms. The firearms I will definitely only do over on Patreon, and I'll try to get that done in the next few days. I owe some people ones on choosing guns for beginners, because there's so much misinformation out there about firearms, and the guns that everybody should have. Okay, I think that's going to wrap it up. Remember, join us on Patreon. If you're not already over there, the information over there is what you need and worth your money and your time. It's the Stonemont series, show you how to get it down there. The t-shirts, either the Stonemont shirt, where life is good, no matter what happens, or the Integrative Preparedness shirt, prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. Both of those are available, just as it says down in the information section. They're $20 a piece. Just send me, your size, which color you want, and which t-shirt. Either message can go on either color. And if you want them buying for gifts, and send somebody else, tell me where to send them, and we'll be happy to. So I know there was a lot of information in this, but gosh, if I tried to cover every one in detail, it'd take me 20 videos, and I think you all wanted to get this fairly quickly. Must be somebody coming to attack, but he won't allow that to happen. So if you didn't get everything in here, review this again. Send this video to friends or family or people you think may need or may benefit from it. That's kind of doggy one. And then go back through it again and take notes and then check it off. Find out where you're strong, find out where you're weak, tighten up where you're weak, and you're going to be in a lot better shape no matter what comes down the road, okay? All right, I got to jump off because we're about to run out of record time. You all have a good day. Remember that we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. So look at your list and see what you need to do to prepare even better than you already are. You all have a good day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.